welcome to Stacy's Homestead, and today I'm going to be diving into my herbal blend, specifically the smoking kind. I'm going to make a smoking herbal blend for everybody. Show you how I do it. So years ago my husband smoked, and for him to quit smoking, I thought of, why don't I just take my herbs that I used for teas. They're very medicinal, and I use them for tinctures and stuff, and I did some research, and there are smoking blends out there for medicinal purposes, but also, I mean, if anything, it just helps you stop smoking and satisfies that urge to smoke once in a while. I still make this, and one of these jars will last my husband like a year, because he'll smoke still on occasion, only my herbal blends, when he gets that urge, and it satisfies that for him. So but it's really helpful, and it's there's a lot of medicinal properties to it as well. So here we go. So there's 3 parts to a herbal smoking blend, and by the way, you can buy these already made on Amazon too, but it's just cheaper to do it yourself, especially for me, since most of these, at least some of them, came from my garden. Now you have a base, 3 parts. Some people do a 4-part, which it's really just a 3-part though. So it's a base, a supportive herb, which sometimes they call modifiers or active herb, and then there's a flavor. And then the people that say it's a 4-part, they say they add an astringent, but I think all of them, because it's a tannin, and all of them are astringent. So to keep it simple, we're going to do 3-part blend. Pretty much what everyone, my chicken's laying an egg right now. Can you believe that? Right out that window. Anywho, alright, so on a side note, we'll talk about, before we get to the layers of making an herbal blend, we'll talk about the spiritual side. Now, your Native Americans believed that herbs had spiritual benefits as well. So it's interesting, each one of the herbs that exist for spiritual healing also have meanings behind them. I just thought that's interesting. And then, for instance, here's an example. I will smudge my house because it just gives good energy. Okay? So, but also Native Americans would smudge people that were sick, they say it would get rid of the evil spirits, but in fact, they didn't know at the time that it had great medicinal properties, and by smudging those people, they were inhaling the smoke, which was helping them get better. And so it was just the medicine and the smoke that was helping them, but they believed it expelled, evil spirits. But it's interesting. So, yeah, and I will do that, and it's very comforting and stuff like that. So I just think that's really neat. I was born and raised Christian and I pray to God, but I believe there's also a spiritual side to things. So I like to, look into that. I think it's really neat. So, but besides that, let's get back to our herbal blends. So we are going to do 3 parts, okay? So we want 50% of our herbal blend to be a base, and the base is going to be your fluffy stuff that holds everything together, and of course it's going to have medicinal benefits, but it's the consistency will catch fire easy and just have an overall body to your herbal blend. So for those, I usually use 2 things. I use red raspberry leaf. Now, red raspberry leaf smells really good. It has health benefits. It's really good for you. Like, I take most of these in teas, but I should have to show you. They smell so delicious. It just smells really good. Has great fluffiness, and so I put that in my put a good handful in here, and we're going to just do mortar and pestle. So just smash that up a little bit. And then you can also add it to a blender, which I think I'm going to do with this. Or you can do one of those little tobacco like blending things that people buy. So you can put this in your blender, which this is so fluffy. I'm going to do because it's going to just I like to use my mortar and pestle for most of the stuff, but this is like really, really fluffy. It's like cotton, and it's just too hard to do the mortar and pestle. So we're just gonna do, you know, a good handful. I mean, there's no exact measurements, as long as 50% of your blend is a base, okay? So another base I use, which has huge medicinal factors. It's your astringent and your lung. Whoosh. That was sealed good. I vacuum seal all these. It's good for your lungs, and it actually helps. My husband has asthma, and it helps him. So when he can't breathe, he will inhale this, and then he can breathe. It's interesting. So this is mullein, okay? And we're gonna put about the same amount in, because I make a large one for enough for a year. Okay, same amount in our blender that we added with the raspberry leaf. Now these are our base. And the mullein's important because it's really, 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 it's like one of the most medicinal things in here. All right, so we got mullein. So we have our base, and there's other bases out there. I like to do multiple things in each one. And then now we have our modifier, or your supporting herb, which is the active things, the additional benefits that you want. So we're gonna do catnip. Okay, catnip is really, really good for anxiety and sleep. And this smells so good. It's related to the mint family. And we're gonna, because I have a lot of sticks in here, the stems, flower, and leaf is good on catnip. And so your supporting herb is 40% of your, you can do 30 or 40, but of your blend. So I'm gonna do 2 supporting herbs, or maybe 3, we'll see. All right, so we're gonna do mortar and pestle on this and grind it up real good so I can fit it in my blending thing. There. There, now the leaves are all broken up. And we're gonna just add this in here. So we got our catnip in here. Okay. Add a little bit more sticks in there. So we got our catnip. And then another supporting herb would be, so rose petals can be supportive or a flavor. And we're gonna make it a supportive, because I love it and it smells good too. It'll be, so the third base to a herb mix is a flavor. So this is going to act as both. So it's going to be a supportive and a flavor. So I'll add this in when I go back to the last step. How about that? So we don't get confused. All right. So another supporting herb is skullcap that I use. The skullcap, it's good for the central nervous system, and it calms anxiety and it helps sleep. It's really, doesn't have too much of a smell to it, but we're gonna pour a good amount, like a nice little handful there, a little cup, probably a cup or so. It's however you want, however much your blend's gonna be. And so that's our skull cap in there. I like to do a few supporting herbs. Let's see, what else? What's another? So we have our skull cap and our catnip as a supporting herb. Excuse me. You can do chamomile, you can do lemon balm, marshmallow root. Let's see what else is on my list. I have to have a list sometimes. Yeah, there's a lot of supporting herbs. It's anything that you can inhale. You have to be careful because some people are allergic to some things too, so make sure you're not allergic to any of this stuff. So we have this. So we have our supporting herbs. Now let's put in, I want to do a little bit more. I think I need more catnip. I need more catnip because I'm making a big jar. There. More catnip. Then I'll vacuum seal all these later. And a little more skull cap. Oh, that's what it is, mugwort. Mugwort is a good supporting herb because it helps with dreams too. So I have some of that. But that's something I would put on the side probably and add in as you want it because it is when you sleep it helps stimulate your mind in a dream state. So there's that. And then we want our flavors, and they are dual purpose. They also have benefits. And so let's go ahead and blend this up before we add our flavorings. That way we have it nice and not so bulky here. All right, so we're done blending and we're gonna add our rose petals in. These are our flavorings. And roses are good for relaxing and it gives nice good flavor and smell and it's sweet. And these are from my garden. So all this except for the skull cap is in the raspberry leaf. So actually not all of it. The rose petal is from my garden and the catnip was from my garden so far. So I've got rose petals in here. And then we're going to put licorice root in. And I love the licorice root is sweet and it has a good taste. We're just going to do a little handful. Now your flavorings are about, 10% of your blend. So do a little handful. Licorice root is really good for you too. Alright, and then we're going to do some mint. Now mint smells really good. I don't put too much in because it does create more of your smokiness, like a bite to it. It's like an astringent. So if you want to do, it's like a 4 blend then if you count this as an astringent. So, and the tannins in here are actually really, really good for you. So lavender has, let's see, lavender has linalool tannin. So we're going to put lavender in, okay? Linalool terpenes, sorry. Linalool terpenes has a sedative to it and a relaxation. So we're going to put lavender. This is from my garden and it smells good too, so it's a good flavoring. And the terpenes in here are really, really good. So here's another thing. I have friends that have smoked medicinally herbs, and you can put these blends because the terpenes in here will help you extend your herbal herbs that you buy. It helps, the people that smoke marijuana medicinally. It'll make it last longer. And so you don't need as much. So I have friends that do that as well. So they will ask me to make an herbal blend for them so they can add them to their mix. So, and then because it's for medicinal benefits like cancer and you know, things that they would need that for. So we got our flavorings down, and so that's it for the blend here. And we're gonna mix it up one more time. Alright, so we blended it all with our blender. Like I said, you can use a mortar and pestle, or oh, that smells really good. It smells super good. And this is also a great tea mixture. So this is the stuff I use just for medicinal teas too. And in the winter, me and my son enjoy a nice medicinal tea before bed, and it helps with sleep. And I'll get to that one. I have other blends for that another time. All right, so I got a jar, and we're just going to, let's get our canning stuff here. Let's go ahead and put it in here. And then my husband will just keep this in his area where he wants it. And then when he has a craving, and it's usually if he consumes like alcohol, that's when he gets that craving. And then he'll put this in his pipe and smoke it. And it satisfies that urge to never smoke cigarettes again, ever, ever, ever. And he's been doing it for 10 years now. So, and it's interesting, he uses his inhaler a lot less. So I just think that's interesting. I'm not giving medical advice. I'm not a doctor or anything. I just study herbs and their medicinal properties, but I'm not advising anybody of anything. Just so you know, this is just what we do and what I find that's working for him. As a side, you know, it's not like he doesn't smoke it for those reasons, but it has that side effect, and the side effect is that he's had asthma his whole life, and he's using his inhaler a whole lot less. Oh, I made a lot. I made probably more than I needed. That's okay. And when you blend this, see, here's the consistency. When you blend it, you don't want to blend it till it's powder. Like, then you won't even be able, it would fall through. You just have powders. Like, you don't want that. You don't want flour. You don't want to blend it till it's flour. You want it to be able to where you can put it in your pipe without it falling through. And you can smoke it, you know. So blend it just enough to crush it up. That's why mortar and pestle is a good idea. That way you don't blend it too much. Just push it down in there. All right. And there's that. It's perfect, actually. I didn't make too much. Perfect for my husband, and this it lasted him over a year. And so, and then I will combine these and other flowers that I have, like echinacea and calendula I have from my garden, and chamomile to make teas. And that's really soothing in the wintertime. So, also, I have a list of other herbs that I will use occasionally. There's, forgive me if I don't pronounce some of these right. Damiana, that's it. That's a flower, and it's in the ancient times it was known as an aphrodisiac. It relaxes the body and mind, and it has like a minty flavor. Then you have Oregano is one, chamomile, of course, and lavender both soothes the nervous system. You have raspberry leaf, rose, catnip, marshmallow, and there's benefits to marshmallow. Actually, I forget. You know, I try to memorize everything, but sometimes I just have to look things up. So there's mint and mullein and blackberry leaf and passion flower and mugwort. So those are the few that I use for the smoking blends. And you can actually look up blends already made being sold on Amazon and copycat those if you want to do that, or just buy them. So, but these are good books to have. So they're Rosemary Gladstone, okay? Gladstars, sorry. Rosemary Gladstars. Herbal recipes. So these are really, really good. I use a lot of them when I make tinctures and stuff, and just for teas and things. And then she has her Medicinal Herbs for Beginners book. It's really good when you're trying to grow a medicinal garden like I am. Mine's slow going because, you know, living in California, we had a month straight of over 105. It was over 105, close to 110 in between. And everything is just I lost a lot of stuff. It's just hard keeping things alive until they get really established. So, but these are a couple books to get, and there's plenty other herbal books, and you know, they don't have everything in here that I have here. There's a lot more herbs that you need to get, but this is just for, you know, beginning thing that are very useful, very, very useful. So, and so that's how I make that, and it's just really cool, you know, to get to know all these things. And like for like on the spiritual side, they say what was it? Oh, marshmallow is a protector, you know. So I don't know. I just think it's pretty cool to like learn another culture. Okie dokie, y'all. So that's how you make those medicinal herbal blend for smoking or teas. And you know, it's just so neat when it comes to like learning the spiritual side of things. I believe, like, I'm like a hippie in that. I believe all things that God made has energy and goodness to it, and you know, a symbiotic being on this earth, right? So I just think there's healing powers in all things, and it's cool to respect and learn other cultures and, you know, learn from it. And even this stuff is ancient medicine that people have been doing forever, like since like Egyptian times. So it's just really interesting, and I think it's cool to learn about stuff like that. So, and the health benefits are just awesome. Whether, you know, you eat it, drink it, or even smoke it. So we'll just talk to y'all later. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye bye.